Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reps Paradise Podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is a retrospective episode, but not the way that you would think. The last few retrospective episodes that I've done has been over, wrestling companies and all stuff, but this time I want to kind of go over a gaming franchise. And I might do some more of these in the future, but let's just see how this one fares to everybody, all right? So the first one that I'm going to be doing is a retrospective of the Forza franchise. This has been a franchise that's started since like the early 2000s, mainly since '05, because it was always the rival to Gran Turismo on the PlayStation, and it was kind of just a head-to-head to see who was better. But it was always been on Xbox, been on OG Xbox, on 360 and Xbox One, also been on Windows PC, and then now going into the PlayStation 5 era. But if you didn't know, Forza is actually Italian for force and strength, which I did not know until now. But they always had two ongoing titles for the Forza franchise. They had Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon, where the Motorsport one was more simulation racing, and then you have Forza Horizon, which was more arcade style, which I've always liked the arcade style of things on this. But apart from both of those, they had two discontinued mobile and computer games, which was Forza Street and Forza Customs. And then the franchise has sold 16 million copies as of December 2016 and garnered critical acclaim, which I mean they've always had. Um, so Turn 10, try to say that 5 times fast, was established in 2001 by Microsoft under its Microsoft Game Studios division to develop a series of racing games, which would become Forza to the rival Gran Turismo for PlayStation. And it was also just to showcase the technological capabilities of the console's first, the company's first console, the original Xbox, including its Microsoft, Xbox Live online multiplayer network. From the start, Turn 10's, Jesus Christ, Turn 10's approach to the series has been to broaden its appeal into the general audience and not limit it to racing enthusiasts, passionately highlighting car culture along the way. Also integral to the series development is also a considerable amount of research put into the racing or to the cars handling, sometimes involving professional race teams as a Formula One and NASCAR. Every Forza title includes a artificial neural network used by its AI racers called drivatars, a Mithu of driver and avatar. And if you didn't know what that term means, is a literature term also known in linguistics, and lexicology. Oh my god! So it's basically the art of compiling dictionaries. No, as a bland word, blend, or simply a bland, is a word formed by combining the meanings and parts of the sounds of two or more words. English examples include smog, coined by the blending smoke and fog, and motel from motor and hotel. That's a little history lesson there. Well, I guess a little English lesson. Let's say that. Drivatars were developed and designed by Microsoft Research Cambridge to learn and adapt to the player's racing or driving style. In early Forza titles, the Drivatars ran on a Bayesian neural network, which calculates possible solutions to a problem and the probabilities based on player data collected from previous races before selecting one with the highest confidence value. Such problem may be reaching a certain turn, at which point the appropriate angle at which to turn and the amount of pressure on the accelerator must be determined. Initially, the only way to share the learned drivatars was to copy them onto Xbox memory units for use by other Xbox consoles. Since Motorsport 5, the drivatars used a reinforcement learning paradigm and have recorded the racing data of all players connected to the cloud as part of the Xbox network. Oh god, they're coming for the cloud. In this paradigm, the drivatars track the player's car position and speed and the consistency of the behavior and thus their turn angle and speed for which a given segment, enabling the drivatars to infer situations for courses the player hadn't raced yet and input for cars the player had not raced with. This is going to be a lot. The data is then uploaded to the cloud to update the drivatar behavior, and the new drivatars are then downloaded to other Xbox consoles. Each upload is timestamped, and the older uploads are treated with less confidence. There have been concerns that player could abuse the system to rubber band the driver AI back to them. But then Turn 10 has stated that the only thing that is rubber banded are their cars, whose performance is slightly modified based on how far they are ahead or behind the player. Turn 10 inserted a layer of control between the player and AI inputs that allows for the developers to modify drivatar behavior so as to prevent unexpected results. Okay, just like early stages too. Initially, Turn 10 designed models for cars and tracks for using commercial off-the-shelf software such as 3D Studio Max. Today, it develops and uses a proprietary 3D modeling software called Fuel that allows multiple artists to work on the same model simultaneously, primarily for those for cars and racing tracks. Wow, that's gonna be a lot to like, I mean, think about that. It's like you're working on the exact same model simultaneously, and you're getting like a lot of like the cars and the tracks done and all that stuff. Like, that's crazy, man. Yeah. Due to its increasing complexity of video games, it took 6 months for 4 people to design a single car model for Xbox One versions of Forza. So Turn 10 came to rely on car manufacturers to share CAD files, which is a it's a computer-aided design. Is the use of computers workstations to aid in creation, modification, and analysis or analysis or optimization of a design. Which, I mean, it always helps. It always helps if you have them to scan real-life cars or send out a photographer to take hundreds or thousands of photographs of newly launched cars. I mean, that's gotta be. You gotta pay that person, or you gotta pay those people to like. Hey, you gotta rely on car manufacturers to send a creative design file, scan real life cars, or send somebody out to take hundreds or thousands of photographs of newly launched cars that just came out. Um, man, like you better have some good photographic skills, man, because some of these cars, like you gotta depend on like what the undercarriage looks like, what the engine looks like, what everything looks like. Because if one thing is off, it's like that whole like car and model. It's like it's just thrown to the wayside because it's not used anymore, which is sad. Playground Games was co-founded in 2009 in Leamington Spa, England, by Gavin Rayburn, Trevor Williams, and Ralph Fulton, all former employees of Codemasters. Now, if you don't know who Codemasters are, they were the British video game developer and former publisher. It was a side project that was under Electronic Arts, or EA, and was managed under the EA Sports division, which that's cool. um, Rayburn was known for his role in developing critical hits such as the Dirt and gosh, Toka franchise. I'm trying to figure out what the Toka was. Or TCOA, whatever you would call it. Um, I don't know why I always call it Toka, but he became inspired by the open world development of Test Drive Unlimited. I mean, that was '06, man, like golly. And so left Codemasters feeling like he lacked the resources to fulfill his ambitions. Other members of Playground have included former employees of Bizarre Creations, Black Rock Studio, and Sony Liverpool, all racing video game companies out of the UK. At the same time, Turn 10 Studios began seeking out businesses in hopes to find one willing to expand and branch out its franchise. At E3 2010, he and Williams offered Turn 10 a concept of an open world Forza motorsport in exchange for resources, which Turn 10 agreed. Playground then developed what was to become Forza Horizon, collaborating with and closely backed by Turn 10. Playground Games had a strong relationship as a third-party developer with Microsoft Studios, but it was only in a June 10 conference at E3 2018 that the company announced its acquisition by Microsoft. I know at the beginning of the thing here, there was the release timeline. So we had just Motorsport in '05. Then we had, which that was on the original Xbox. I think I remember playing that too. I remember playing Motorsport 2, which was on 360, Motorsport 3. I don't think I played Motorsport 4. I think I have maybe played the demo for it or something. I remember playing the Motorsport or the Forza Horizon demo for that. Didn't play Motorsport 5. I think I did a demo for Motorsport Horizon 2. Um, Motorsport 6 I didn't play. Horizon 3 I didn't play. Motorsport 7 I didn't play. But I've played Horizon 4, 5, and now I have 6, which is always a good time. Um, okay, so until 2019, each installment of the franchise series had altered on an annual basis. The Motorsport entries were released in odd number of years, while Horizon entries were released in even number of years, which I didn't know. This pattern was altered due to the absence of a new Motorsport game in 2019. In 2025, Forza Horizon 5 was announced and slated for release on Sony's PlayStation 5 console in Q1/Q2 2025 as part of Microsoft's gaming ongoing plans to distribute their first-party library on multiple platforms, marking the first time the franchise has shipped on an Xbox console. In July 2025, as part of Microsoft Gaming's restructuring of operations, Turn 10 Studios suffered a series of layoffs that resulted in a loss of nearly half of their existing workforce. Ouch. Subsequent reports inferred that the developer would be reorganized into a support studio for Forza Horizon entries and developments on the Forza tech engine, effectively discontinuing the Forza Motorsport series, according to former content creator or coordinator Fred Russell. So, Forza Tech was the video game engine created by Turn 10 Studios. It was the main engine used for the Forza series. The game engine was trademarked by Microsoft in 2015 and has been used since to develop the current Forza games and as well as the Fable reboot, which I'm actually kind of shocked about that because it's like the Fable reboot, that's got to be something like, because like with the Forza games now, it's kind of not cartoony, but it's kind of just, it runs very well and it's actually really, really good model. I don't know, it's like, with the Fable reboot coming out next year, I wonder how that's going to go with the Forza Tech engine. Um, so we have the Motorsport titles, and then we have the Horizon titles. I think at the bottom of this thing here. So we have, and it has platform. It has PC, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and S. So with Forza Motorsport 5, or Forza Motorsport, the original one, came out on original Xbox, but was backward compatible on 360. And then Motorsport 2, 3, and 4 were all on 360. And then Motorsport 5, 6, and 7, it was on Xbox One, but also backwards compatible on Series X and S. And then Forza Motorsport 6 and 7, and then just Forza Motorsport that came out 2 years ago, that was also on PC and Xbox Series X and S as well. Um, hmm, Interesting. That's actually interesting. Um, so we have Forza Motorsport 2005. It was released on May 3rd of 2005 and it was the first installment in the Forza Motorsport series. It was the only title of the series to be released on the original Xbox console. It featured 231 cars and racetracks from 15 real-world and fictional locations. Common elements established by this game for future Forza titles includes effects of damage on car performance, a paint job, decal editor, the ability to tune one's car and purchase upgrades using in-game credits won at previous races, and assist functions that make driving easier but at the cost of bonus and race credits. It also supported online multiplayer via Xbox Live, as have all of its successors. The Honda NXSX and a tuned Nissan 350Z are the cover vehicles, and is also playable on the Xbox 360 via backwards capacity. So then we have Forza Motorsport 2, and it's the first Xbox 360 title in the series. It was released on May 29th of 2007, so 2 years later on May. And this one has a total of 349 cars and 23 different circuits from 12 locations. The series support for force feedback first appears in this installment. Microsoft's 360 wireless racing wheel was designed to work with the game to support that feature. Card customization was also expanded. There were about 50% more parts and upgrades, and in the previous installment, up to 4,100 llamos can be applied to any car. And cars can be sold online with custom skins for in-game credits in the game's new auction house. So this next one has the auction house onto it, which that's also a good feature because like if you want to get rid of a car, you could just like get rid of it and not have to like be like, oh shit. The system that groups cars into letter-based classes based on performance, expressed as a numerical performance index. Now, takes into account changes to one's car to make it more or less powerful, rising or lowering the index, and possibly reclassifying the car. Prior to the game's release, Microsoft launched Motorsport Showdown, a four-part TV miniseries on Speed. If you remember Speed. The show was produced by Bud Brutzman and hosted by Lee Ritherman. A tuned Nissan 350Z is the cover vehicle, which I remember that going around the track. So now we go into Forza Motorsport 3, which was on October 27th, 2009. Includes more than 400 cars from 50 manufacturers and about 100 racetrack variations. Sport utility vehicles and stock cars make their debut in this game's car roster. The game introduces more optional assets aimed at making driving less challenging for less experienced players. One of them is the rewind feature, which allows the player to turn back time to fix any previous mistake made on the track. I've always loved that feature because if you mess something up or if you go off the track and all stuff, so you can like rewind it and just go back to where you had messed up and you can just like fix it and stuff. So that was into this game. So that's been from Motorsport 3 onward with all these games for the rewind feature. Auto braking brakes the player's car to prevent it from skidding off the track turns, and auto tuner automatically turns the car's aspects. For marine mode had been revised for this edition of Forza Motorsport to contain 250 events, of which involved two new modes, drag racing and drifting. It was also the first game in the franchise to feature a cockpit camera, as well as the ability to capture, edit, and share clips of gameplay. The Audi R8 is a cover vehicle. So, from the first game to this game, this is Motorsport 3. 4 years. And it's already got like two new game modes in it. It's like drag racing and drifting, which goes on to the later games. The rewind feature is on this one. The cockpit camera is on this. It's like it's going above and beyond, and it's been making it more and more viable to the Forza Motorsport series. All right, so now we go into Forza Motorsport 4 in 2011. It was released on October 11, 2011. Excuse me. Turn 10 Studios partnered with BBC's Top Gear to get Jeremy Clarkson to provide commentary for the new Auto Vista mode, which allows players to explore a certain selection of cars in great detail. The game is also the first in the franchise to utilize the Kinect sensor. Who remembers that? Players can utilize the sensor to turn their head to either side, and the game dynamically follows a similar motion, turning the game camera to the side. It is also the final Forza Motorsport released for 360, and it has the 2009 Ferrari 458 as the cover vehicle. So now we go into Forza Motorsport 5, which was in 2013. Forza Motorsport 5, or FM5, was the fifth installment of the Motorsport series in the sixth in the Forza series. It was released as a Xbox One launch title on November 22nd, 2013. The game expanded on the Top Gear partnership by having Richard Hammond and James May provide commentary alongside Clarkson. The Auto Vista mode was renamed Forza Vista and new to the series with open wheel cars and integrated cloud computing, which collects and uses driving data from connected players to shape driver behavior and through which user-generated paint jobs can be downloaded. The 2013 McLaren P1 was the cover vehicle. So with each game, they are adding more and more and more features onto it, which makes it more playable. Which I think it's always a good thing to do. So now we go into Forza Motorsport 6, which is in 2015, was released on Xbox One for 2015 in September 15th of 2015, introduces new gameplay elements such as racing in the rain and or at night. An online ranking system called the Leagues matches players based on their skill level and game modifying cards. The game increases the number of racers in any race to 24 and has a much richer selection of cars and locations than its predecessor, 460 and 26, respectively. Players can also now choose whether to toggle the driver towards aggression, a cut-down, free-to-play Windows 10 version of the game known as Forza Motorsport 6 Apex, which was released on September 6, 2016, as a more focused and curated single-player tour of Forza Motorsport's best content. And then on September 15, 2019, it was made unavailable for purchase due to the expiration of various car and track licenses. So, you kind of had to get it while you could because it was a hot commodity thing. But this is when they allow racing in the rain and or night. Online ranking system called the Leagues and all that stuff. So now we go into 2017 with Forza Motorsport 7, developed by for Windows 10 and Xbox One. This game includes many tracks featuring return of Maple Valley Raceway, the fictional track last included in Forza Motorsport 4. Motorsport 7 has the largest set of playable vehicles of any Forza game to date at 830 cars. Jesus. 700 cars are included in the base game, while 130 were later added as DLC. Damn. And now we have the final Motorsport game, just Forza Motorsport in 2023. The eighth and final Motorsport game, which was a reboot to the Motorsport subseries. It was first announced during Microsoft's Xbox Games Showcase on July 23rd, 2020. It was eventually released on October 10th, 2023. Not really much to say about that one because I don't think it really did very well, which is sad to say. And now we go into the Horizon franchise here. And there's only six. So the locale for each one is always different. So for the first one is in the United States, and then Forza 2, it's in the French and Italian Rivieras. Forza Horizon 3 was in Gold Coast, Australia. Forza Horizon 4 was in Great Britain. Forza Horizon 5 was in Mexico, and then Forza Horizon 6 was in Tokyo, Japan this year. I think it was also crazy that Forza Horizon 2 was on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. It was also backwards compatible on Series X and S on this one. That's actually kind of interesting. But then, 2016 comes around, you have Forza Horizon 3 on PC, Xbox One, and then backwards compatible on Series X and S. Same with Forza Horizon 4, but Horizon 4 is on Xbox One and Series X as well, and S, I should say, and PC. So from the first Forza Horizon till 3, it was on Xbox 360, and then it's just nope. I get it. So Forza Horizon 2012. It was developed for the 360 and was the first open world game in the series. And it was around a fictionist festival called the Horizon Festival, set in the U.S. state of Colorado. The game incorporates many different gameplay aspects from the previous Forza Motorsport titles, like the large variety of cars, realistic physics, and high-def graphics. The aim is to progress through the game by means of obtaining wristbands by driving fast, destroying property, winning races, and other driving antics. Horizon features the physics of Forza Motorsport 4, which have been optimized to work on the more than 65 variants of terrain said to be present in the game. Drivers can also drive off-road in select areas, while others are limited by guardrails or other means. Horizon allows the player to modify the car that is selected from the garage by changing numerous features, both internally and externally, on a car. One can also obtain cars by winning races with random drivers on the street, by winning larger competitive races in by finding barns housing hidden treasure cars that could not otherwise be bought through the game's auto show or through racing. So this is like when they start to introduce the auto show and the do the barn finds and all that stuff too, which is actually kind of interesting. So now we go into excuse me, Forza Horizon 2. So this one was in southern France and northern Italy. The playing field was 3 times the map of its predecessor, which that's crazy. Um, it says both versions of the game featured day and night cycles and cross-country races up to 12 players and 2 bucket lists, one for France and the other for Italy. Bucket lists are lists of location-specific challenges involving certain vehicles for the player to complete, such as driving a Ford Raptor through a forest and with only headlights to light the player's way. That had to be challenging for people. That had to be challenging for people. Um, Additionally, single-player and multiplayer modes were or have merged to allow for seamless connectivity, while other players can join in or drop out of the host session without interrupting the latter's progress. In this edition of Forza Horizon, Car Meets serves as an online hub for players to compare the cars and share their own designs or tunes for others to use, as well as socialize and challenge each other in other showdown races. And then we go to Forza Horizon 3, which was in 2016. This was in Australia. It says but for the first time, it says the terrain includes sand and deep bodies of water that can be driven on or into. And the car roster, which was expanded to 350 cars, encompasses off-road racing buggies, and trophy trucks. The single-player campaign mode adds co-op, in which up to 3 players join the host to complete the ladder's objectives. Progression is kept regardless of which mode campaign is played in. A new mode called Horizon Blueprint allows players to edit events by changing their routes, number thereof, and time of day, and determining which cars are eligible for the events. An expansion titled Blizzard Mountain was released on December 13th, 2016, featuring a snow area along with the name, giving Blizzard Storms 8 new cars and the 2016 Ford Focus RS RX as its cover vehicle. A second expansion themed around Hot Wheels was released on May 9th, 2017. The expansion features a new area called Throtopia and adds orange and blue Hot Wheels tracks with loops, jumps, corkscrews, boost pads, half pipes, and more. The expansion includes 10 new cars. The Hot Wheels Twin Mule is the cover vehicle. I think I remember that. I remember Forza Horizon 4, they added that Hot Wheels expansion onto it too. I think they also did like a Legoland one for Forza Horizon 4. I'm thinking too. Um, I know like this one was set in Great Britain, so there's like not much of the map. But then you could also do like the Treasure Island stuff. You could also do Legoland stuff, which was actually kind of cool. Um, and that was in the Forza Horizon 4 was 2018. Then 3 years later, which was in 2021 during the pandemic, which was Forza Horizon 5. That was on Xbox One, Series X and S, and then Windows 10, set in Mexico. Um, and then now we have Forza Horizon 6, which was at last year's Tokyo Game Show, and I was always been waiting for a new Forza game to come out. And I'm actually kind of glad that we got a new one based in Japan of all places. But hey, like that's where drifting was, and that's where drifting is. Um, so kind of wanted to go over some more like scores and like how much maybe some of them sold and all that stuff. So first game, Forza Motorsport, got a 92 out of 100 on Metacritic for Xbox. That's insane. Um, and plus that was the first game of the franchise. So it's like it had a lot of potential, which it was in '05. So like I mean, let's be honest here. Motorsport 2 got a 90, Motorsport 3 got a 92, Motorsport 4 got a 91, and then Forza Horizon got an 85. Motorsport 5 got a low score, which was 79. Ooh. Um, Forza Horizon 2 got a 86, Motorsport 6 got a 87, Horizon 3 got an 86 on PC and a 91 on Xbox One. Nice. Motorsport 7 got an 82 on PC and 86 on Xbox One. Horizon 4 got an 88 on PC, 92 on Xbox One. I mean that's pretty much good. Horizon 5 got a 91 on PC and then 92 on Xbox Series X and S. And then, or I guess just Xbox in general, like Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. And then Forza Motorsport got an 83 on PC and 84 on Xbox Series S and X. And then now the current game, Horizon 6, has got 89 on PC and then a 91 on Xbox Series X and S. So, out of all the games, Forza Motorsport 5 was the weakest one on consoles, but then you had Motorsport 7 being kind of weakest on the PC, but on Xbox it was a pretty good score. So I mean, some pretty good scores like all around too, because like not a lot of people were, wanting to play like Gears of War or, playing Call of Duty or something. Because there was a lot of people back then, getting day one titles. It was like Call of Duty this, Call of Duty that. Um, but if people just wanted to have a racing game, why not just go for racing games? So the games have sold over 10 million copies by August of 2014, and then 16 million as of April 2021, becoming the sixth best-selling racing game franchise. It was also one of the highest grossing video game franchises, grossing over $1 billion at retail by December of 2016. Individually, Forza Motorsport 3 sold 3 million units by February 2010. Forza Motorsport 5 was bought over one-third of all Xbox One owners in February 2014, which Eurogamer estimates amounts to 1.3 million copies. By December 2016, around 2.5 million Forza Horizon 3 units were sold, and then over 14 million unique players were registered in the Forza community on Xbox One and Windows 10 by December 2016. Um, hmm, like, and that's gotta like boost their self confidence too, because I mean, when you drop Forza Motorsport 1, not a lot of people are probably gonna be playing it, but you gotta like have the cojones to go into it and be like, look, like if it fails, it fails. If it works, it works, and then it works. So it's like, can you make the next one? So then it's like I said, like 2005. Then we have 2007. We have '09. We have 2011. We have 2013. We have 2015. We have 2017, and then we have 2023, which is 6 years later after the seventh motorsport game. But it didn't do very good. But then, when you mix things up with Forza Horizon, you kind of go like, okay, well, if people want to go like break shit and and get points for it and all stuff, why not make a game that's like an arcade style? So then you have Forza Horizon that comes out in 2012. You have 2014 with Horizon 2, 2016 with Horizon 3. You have 2018 with Horizon 4, 2021 with Horizon 5, and then you have this year with Horizon 6. Um, and they've been getting better and better and better and better from just from like 21 years ago. That's crazy. 21 years of Forza games, and they've just been hitting on all cylinders. Which, I mean, truth be told, Xbox people back then, they were just like, they're just getting their hands on anything, like anything. But I think the AI, the Drivatar thing, it's it's good in some aspects of it. I think it's also a pretty cool, like, interesting tool to kind of go, okay, so like if I do this turn, but I know they're gonna follow me, it's like, kind of just being like, okay, like are they gonna shadow me? Or are they just gonna just follow my lead or whatever? And it's also kind of cool just to like think about that they incorporated all of that into a game and then just kind of go, okay, so like the next Avatar that we have, are they gonna be better than you or are you gonna be better than them? So it's like, to be honest with you, it's like it's not a bad thing to do. Um, but this was actually kind of a cool look down like some memory lane and stuff because I remember playing Motorsport 2 and Motorsport 3, and playing the demos of like Forza Horizon and Forza Horizon 2. And then when I had gotten my Xbox One 4 years ago, I remember getting Forza Horizon 4 and 5. And then now I have an Xbox Series X, or S, I should say. And I'm playing Forza Horizon 6. So it's kind of cool to see what I grew up playing and how much like card knowledge I have to this day. I mean, I don't have much card knowledge, but it's like like I grew up playing these games for nostalgic purposes, of course. But I remember, I think it was on Motorsport 3. I think either one of my cousins or somebody on the online sphere there had made a Top Gear track. Either that or it was in, I think it was Motorsport 4, I think I remember playing Motorsport 4 a little bit. Anyway, they had a Top Gear track, and I remember Jeremy Clarkson being like, like he's going around the bench, and like all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I remember playing these games, with my cousins sometimes, like, or just by myself, and just trying to like make myself better. But now, like with Forza Horizon 6, I can kind of say that I am a little bit better than I was back then. Especially like with some drifting and all stuff here and there. Because I was not good at drifting at all. I was not good at all. I was completely shit at drifting. I can drift like a motherfucker on GTA though. I can do that, like, bar none. But I will leave it at that. And if you made it to the very end of this video, we do really appreciate it. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because it helps us out greatly. And if you want to know more about us or want to see what we're up to or what we're doing in our daily lives, we do have a Linktree page, which will be in the description down below, which will take you to our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, podcast, Reddit pages on there, even YouTube channels on there. And tonight's song of the night, it is going to be a Seether song again. And it is from one of their albums that was from 4 years ago, I think. And it is Bruised and Bloodied. There is a music video for it. I did check. I do know this. And I think that is it for tonight's episode. Also, this was actually not really planned, this episode, because Marissa was saying it's my choice, and I just decided to do a retrospective on one of the gaming franchises that I grew up loving to play, so hey, whatever. Um, so, thank you so much for listening or watching, and I will see you guys next week. Peace!